Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh called from the Great Millstone, Orlando. And, just one of many of the narratives when it comes to Esau. At this point, he's looking for any justification to shut things down, switch over to this new system. Pursuant to Revelation 13, there's going to be a new way of buying and selling. So, of course, just standing on our watch, as always, as usual. We're just on the lookout for how it's going to play out. We know it's coming. We're just paying attention to the details of prophecy. All right. So again, there's many narratives out there. Before it was Iran and China. There's always different narratives out there that Esau puts out there. So this is just another one of those narratives dealing with what I have here. This article, as it says, U.S. Space Command warns Russia planning space Pearl Harbor with nuclear weapon in orbit. So as I'm going to read this article, going to breeze through it, going into, pretty much a lights out scenario. So it says the U.S. military officials are warning that Russia may be preparing to deploy a nuclear weapon in space, a move that could threaten satellites and disrupt critical systems around the world. Jumping down, the General Stephen Whiting, who leads U.S. Space Command, said the United States is increasingly uneasy about Moscow's reported intentions. He stated that the U.S. is very concerned about the possibility that Russia is developing a nuclear anti-satellite weapon designed for deployment in orbit. Such a weapon, if used, could cripple large portions of global infrastructure that depend on satellites, including communications, navigation, and surveillance systems. So, again, a lights out scenario. All right. As the scriptures say, the just living by faith, because when this thing goes down, we don't know where we're going to be. All right. Like your boy Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And while everyone is trying to prep, right, they have when the system goes down, when the grid goes down, everyone's talking about how they're going to everyone has a plan A through Z, but again, we don't know what we're going to do when that time comes and the lights go out. It says officials warned that the effects would not be limited to military targets, but could spill over into civilian life, impacting everything from GPS services to commercial aviation. And, due to this whole so-called Middle Eastern conflict, man, plus the supply chain crisis, fuel shortages and things of that nature, flights being canceled worldwide. Hey, it's beautiful to see Yahweh Shema Shai from the inside out. He's bringing this place down. I'm gonna grab this real quick, and that's the spirit, because here at my job, this plantation, just had an incident last night. A damn water pipe underground broke under one of the buildings, and it caused the whole parking lot in the area to pretty much it started to collapse. Now, thankfully, they had it fixed today and whatnot, but last night, man, like I said, man, the concrete started breaking up. I'm walking on the parking lot and I'm losing my balance because the floor the ground is uneasy. It's breaking apart as I'm walking on it. you know, um, I was going to grab this real quick in Isaiah 14 because this is what it reminded me of what I just mentioned. It says Isaiah 14. Bear with me. Matter of fact, that's the Spirit. Let me read this. Bear with me. Because as I just mentioned, and like I mentioned here with the aviation, right? Flights being canceled and, all these guys, these whistleblowers that have been over the past few years coming out about these airplanes and how they're being deleted and things of that nature. Let me read this. It's right in my face, Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the earth. And a part of that could go into, again, the aviation, the planes, right? When they mention ascending into the heaven, right? Exalting the throne above the stars, right? A part of that can go into, again, the aviation. But just making a point how, bear with me, in the same chapter, Isaiah 14 and what is that, verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So just making a point again, how it's beautiful to see Yahweh Bashmal Shai from the inside out. America specifically is crumbling from within, and that's why I use that example of what just happened here on this plantation just last night. Spiritually speaking and carnally, hey, this place is decaying from within, and it's a spirit as well. Because I just put I took a picture of some license plate on the way to the plantation today. I put it in the chat for brothers because on the license plate it mentioned a house divided. That was on the license plate. A house divided. So, Yahweh Shema Shah, he's definitely communicating. All right. And we are not without, because that's what's getting ready to happen to these people. They're getting ready to be without, because these people, these Babylonians, they don't know what it is to be without. They don't know what it is to be wanting. Because you best believe when the lights go out, and we're going through the short period, the short transition, right? Because, at some point, it just makes sense. At some point, the lights have to come back on in order for this new system to be up and running. This is why they're preparing the 6G and, the 15-minute cities and all these things that we've been reporting on over the years, right? But reading on, it says, Whiting emphasized that Russia continues to invest in advanced space capabilities despite economic pressure, noting Russia remains a very historic and sophisticated space power. They continue to invest in counter-space weapons. The concern centers on reports that Moscow may be considering placing a nuclear device in low orbit. According to Whiting, they are potentially thinking about placing on orbit a nuclear ASAT weapon, a development that could endanger satellites belonging to multiple nations. Defense officials have warned that detonating such a weapon in space could trigger widespread disruption, potentially disabling satellite networks on a massive scale. This scenario has been described by some analysts as a possible space Pearl Harbor. So, again, we're on the lookout for the next Black Swan event. All right. It says, reflecting the sudden and far-reaching consequences such an attack could have, the potential development would also violate the Outer Space Treaty and international agreement that prohibits placing nuclear weapons in orbit. Whiting underscored the seriousness of that possibility, warning that it would hold at risk everyone's satellites in low Earth orbit, and that would be an outcome that we just couldn't tolerate. U.S. officials say the warning comes amid a broader pattern of increased space-related tensions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Military leaders have pointed to ongoing interference with satellite communications and GPS signals as evidence that space is becoming an increasingly contested domain. So, of course, we have our spiritual lenses on. All right. As always, we chew the meat, spit the bones, right? We put our spiritual thinking caps on. All right, because at this point we read between the lines. All right, so because it's highly unlikely that Russia would just want to just pretty much EMP everything, and everyone, just EMP everyone's shit, because that's pretty much what this is pretty much just an EMP, But of course, Esau, his narratives being one of his weapons. All right. He has to put this out there. All right. There's always a boogeyman. And again, with that boogeyman, they act off that boogeyman. And from there, it justifies Esau doing what he does, doing what he has to do to further fulfill prophecy. I just watched a video by the elder Yashawamba out there in Dallas. If we just read the title, going into these biometrics, the dollar is quickly on its way out, right? This debt bubble is getting ready to pop. All right. All the tall tale signs are there. This video by the elder Yashawamba, Remnant Save 144. With prophecy watch, the new legislation will require biometrics to keep bank accounts. So, very edifying video, of course. I also watched the elder apostle Ariam Blob. The exposure and sellouts coming out of the woodwork. So, we're definitely close, dangerously close at that. And any day now, as I say, man, any day now, we know that at any given moment, all right, this thing is going to pop off. But this is just another one of those narratives, the boogeyman, all right, that Esau has to put out there. All right, so when they do flip the switch, or turn the switch off rather, they can play the blame game, from there. Because you best believe, like I said, these Babylonians, they're not used to being without. They're not used to being wanting. So when the lights do go out, everything, when it goes dark, you best believe there's going to be a time of chaos and anarchy. All right, and from there, Esau is going to justify him in bringing in his order. So, these conspiracy theories, more and more, they're being found out to be conspiracy facts. All right. The scoffers have been becoming less and less lately. People aren't talking as much shit as they used to. All right. Because things are happening. And, it's not so crazy as it like before. These things don't sound so crazy. They don't sound so far-fetched. Right. Revelation 6. And this is why we know Esau, he has to do something quick, man, because he's being called out. As I watched the elder apostle Ramlab, he just did the video about the what is it, man? The God damn it, the poverty. What is it? The God damn it. But basically, how they just got exposed, right? They've been, which again, this is something that we already knew, but. Let me look this up real quick. These guys just got exposed, which is nothing new to us, but just making the point. Again, Esau, he has to do something, and he has to do something quick. He's been lost in narrative. He's lost the information war. All right. And this is why he's acting rash. All right. He's being haste. All right. Bear with me. The Southern Poverty Law Center. So yeah, they just got exposed, right? But yeah, Esau, again, he's losing the narrative. He's acting rash. He has, and typically when you're haste, you tend to make mistakes. You tend to make decisions that's not for your best of interest. Mistakes get made, and this is exactly what's going on. All right, so this is why Esau, at some point, he's just going to have to drop the hammer. All right. He's going to have to make his move. Revelation 12:12, he's going to have to come down with that great wrath. More and more, the devil's showing his horn. Trump he's blatantly putting it out there. As the scripture said, in the end, he will declare his wickedness. So, Revelation 6. Revelation 6. And 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, talking about America, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So Esau, matter of fact, verse 4 as well, because it's talking about Esau as well. Verse 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So it's not a coincidence. Esau, he's getting his bunkers ready. All right. Because they're about to stir chaos. All right, they're about to stir the shit up, man. Like I said, they're about to flip the switch off, rather. All right, it's about to be total anarchy and chaos. All these narratives out there. All right, there's a lot of witchcraft going on. Sacrifices. All type of debauchery. All right, we're at the end of this thing. So Esau, he has to make these. He is making moves. All right. So again, man, any day now, this is just another one of those narratives. So just be on the lookout, man. Any day now, these lights are going to go off. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. All praise to Yahweh, Shema Shai, Shalom.